Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Kaja May, and welcome to the third episode of the Growing the Game podcast. Today, I am joined by Joey Pitt and Jacob New to introduce the Surrey Eagles and the impacts of Junior A BCHL hockey. Hope you enjoy. Hello, welcome to today's guests. I have Jacob New and Joey Pitt, both involved with the Surrey Eagles organization in the BCHL. And I just wanted to start off with a bit of a rundown of what the BCHL is for those who may not know.
You want to take that one, Joey?
I'd love to. So I will give like the standard BCHL marketing pitch that they like to pitch. It's the fastest route to NCAA Division I hockey is the BCHL. If you want to, like, if you're planning, when you're trying to play junior hockey, there's two paths you can go, which is either major junior, which is the Western League, the OHL, or the QM, or there's junior A. The Western League path is you're trying to get drafted immediately, whereas the junior A path is you're trying to go to college first. So in terms of the junior A leagues in Canada and North America as a whole, the BCHL is far and above the best one. If you look at the talent in the league currently right now, you have guys like Devon Taves, who came from the Surrey Eagles, Alex Newhook, who was a Victoria Grizzly, Croy Stetcher was a Penticton V. Dante Fabro was a Penticton V. Ryan Johansson was a Penticton V. I'm seeing a pattern here.
Danton Heinen was a Surrey Eagle for 1 year.
There we go. There's
Brandon
one.
Tanev.
Brandon. There's another. There we go. So you can see the pedigree of the BCHL. And even if you look back historically, I'm going to have to list V's here again because it's where I'm from and it's the ones that I know. But just historically, you have guys like Andy Moog, Brett Hull, Paul Correa, Duncan Keith. The list goes on and on about the guys who have come up through this league. Ray Ferraro's another one, played for the Penticton Knights back in the 80s. He played something like 60 games for the V's, ended up putting up like 160 points. Guy was absolute monster in junior hockey. So it's also just, it's a great family atmosphere. The leagues have been tried to celebrate 60 years during COVID. So it kind of got pushed back to their 61st season is the 60th anniversary, but it's been going for 60 years strong, from the Vancouver Island all the way out to Cranbrook. It covers a lot of area, and there's 18 communities that are live and die with their hockey teams. And I think that's a pretty good way to sum up the way that we kind of see Canada, right? So.
A great rundown, a great introduction. Just a couple questions. What's it kind of like to work specifically with like the Eagles and stuff like that? Jacob's the in-house PA, Joey's play-by-play. For a little context, kind of what's it like to work within the BCHL and the Junior A system?
Well, I think it's a great positive for everyone on the media team. Joey has extensive experience in the BCHL with the V's before joining the Eagles this past year. I am a first timer, in this league. This is my first time working in a media with the sports team, and it's been really extremely positive in terms of like mentorship. I work with a team as first year owners. We have a brand new ownership in Surrey. So, I'm finding my feet, they're finding my feet. And we've had a really great year so far in terms of not just team performance, but really just getting the community of Surrey out to South Surrey Arena and rediscovering Eagles hockey. So I would say it's been great. As in-house announcer, I do goal announcements and, player intros and so forth. But I also work as the DJ. So, a lot of turning virtual tables as is and, choosing music, whether that is, for a regular home game on a Friday, for the great community that comes out, or sometimes, we'll have games that are themed. So we had a Cloverdale Rodeo night, I think last week. So we actually went all country music, and I think that turned out very well. Got even a couple of requests from people in the team. So I'd say it's been really great overall in terms of just developing my own skills. Personally, I've been told I have a great broadcast voice, and really broadcasting has been something that I've really wanted to get into ever since I was a kid. And even, if you had told me 2 years back that I'd be doing this, coming out of my degree, my bachelor's in political science, I would have been like, no way. So it's a great starting point. Teams in these communities across the province are always looking for people. Usually it's is kind of I don't want to call it a revolving door, because some people stay with their teams for years and years and gather experience and make connections. And at the same time, it really can also be a stepping stone to greater things in sports media. So I think it's just a great avenue for people to look into if this is what they're looking for.
On the other side of the coin, as the play-by-play broadcaster, I spend most of my time up in the Brendan Batchelor broadcast booth at the South Surrey Arena, aptly named after former Eagles play-by-play Brendan Batchelor, who spent one season with the Eagles, but the Eagles won the Fred Page Cup and the Western Canada Cup the year he was here. So that was back in 2013, which some scientists believe was a decade ago. So,
Oh my god.
but as the play-by-play broadcaster, I have the best job in the world. Like, legitimately, I don't think there's a more fun thing you can get paid to do than call a sports game, specifically hockey in our case. It's a dream come true, because there was like two things I ever wanted to do with my life. It was either I wanted to be a wrestler or I wanted to be a play-by-play broadcaster. And, the big guy up there made me 5'9", so WWE wasn't going to come calling, but I got a pretty good voice. So, and I had some good teachers back in middle school who put me in the right direction and encouraged me to follow what I thought would be a good path for me. So shout out Mr. Lapointe and Mr. Hurd. But getting a chance to go from working in U18 hockey, it's great hockey down there, but the only ones in the crowd are parents, to go to a level where you're getting paying crowds. They're rowdy, they're into it, they love their teams. It brings so much more to your energy as a broadcaster. If you go out to the island, they're super passionate. When you go up to the interior, they're crazy out there. I'm getting ready to go out to Cranbrook and Trail this weekend. I'm expecting that to be a rowdy couple barns there. So, and I can't say enough good things about working as a play-by-play broadcaster, and the BCHL is a great place to really wet your feet. This is year 2 in the business for me, and I couldn't be happier.
All right. Yes, it's kind of like like Jacob said, a bit of a pipeline too, as well. Similar to what it is for the players also. Going into NCAA. Anyway, kind of touched on it before, but there is a heavy community involvement aspect, like getting, the community of Surrey, which is, compared to some other communities in the BCHL, quite a large city. Out to South Surrey Arena, which is Great Barn, we'll say that. Yeah, kind of just involving these different areas. It's really a local spectacle of a sense. Like, you have, the big team in the big league, the Vancouver Canucks. You have the Abbotsford Canucks in the AHL. You have the various WHL teams throughout the province. But this league in the BCHL is like it's pretty locally focused, and I feel like every team does like a pretty good job of involving the community around it. Like you said, Cloverdale Rodeo Night was the other night. A lot of country, and Cloverdale Rodeo is like one of the biggest things in Surrey, for those of you who probably don't live in Surrey. It's a huge event. There's other events, like there's Punjabi night. There was a Lunar New Year celebration night, kind of bringing in those the real life communities to kind of attract them into the game of hockey as well, which is it's a good atmosphere overall.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the most interesting and unique things about Surrey is how diverse it is. And so I really was proud that, this team focused on those theme nights this year, and we put a really good effort into that. I felt super happy with how the Punjabi night went in November. We had our Lunar New Year night, I think, at the beginning of February, and really just getting people to find out about the Surrey Eagles and the BCHL. As you mentioned, the attention span, at least when it comes to Surrey, it's interesting because there's all these bigger level events so close. You have your Vancouver Canucks and Abbotsford Canucks and Vancouver Giants and so forth. And so, it's interesting with the fan bases of those smaller communities in the BCHL. They are diehard. Like, They will go by the Nanaimo Clippers, everything. They go by the Penticton Vs, everything. And so I've been really impressed with how we've been able to kind of cultivate at least a sense of real fan involvement and community involvement, especially with this team this year with the new ownership group and going forward. And so really, I think all things considered, we're looking up and up, and it gets better every single game. And we're really looking forward to what it might look like at the South Surrey Arena for those playoffs, Fred Page Cup coming up. So,
yes, seems very exciting. Joey, do you have anything to add on that, or?
I think Jacob kind of hit the nail on the head for that one. I kind of took the words out of my mouth. The only thing, it's like Surrey with the size of it, I mean, like I have a buddy who lives up near like Surrey Central, and I would have him come out to games every now and then. That's like a 40-minute drive for him down King George Boulevard. Surrey is really big, right?
It is big.
So due to the proximity of the South Surrey Arena, like you could, if you're standing outside the barn at the ticket booth, you could probably, and you have a good arm, you could probably hit the White Rock Pier with a football. Like you're really close there, right? You're at the very bottom. It's the South Surrey Arena. Like you're down there. So
it's aptly named.
Aptly named, exactly. So if you're a hockey fan out in Fraser Heights, for example, which is out north of the highway before the Portman Bridge, for example, or you're out in South Westminster down by Scott Road, you're not going to maybe want to make that drive. However, you live in White Rock or South Surrey or Cloverdale, and that's a quick hop and a skip away for you. It's absolutely, why wouldn't you come down for a great night out? It's affordable, it's family friendly. If you come on Sundays, you get to skate with the players. Like there's tons of great stuff you could do. And just in terms of the players on the roster, you couldn't find a more personable bunch of guys. We have like a specific fan club that shows up basically just to see Ty Brassington and Tate Taylor. Like they love those two defensemen, right? And there's these 4 or 5 kids, and they'll bring signs and stuff like that. They'll get pictures taken with them at the end of games. And Tate and Ty are always there afterwards. They'll go in and they'll do the little post-game scrum with the coaches and whatnot. And as soon as they get a chance to, they'll run right back out the door and talk to the kids and stuff like that. They're a great bunch of players, and like a lot of them are all committed. Like those two, for example, they're going to Clarkson University. Oh, Clarkson, you guys are getting a good bunch of guys there. Bongo and Galata, they're going to Sacred Heart. Couldn't be getting a better pair of guys there. Ryden Evers and Jacob Bonkowski going down to Omaha, pardon me. That's another great spot, another great pair of guys. So the community has a chance to really come together around this team, and they're a great on-ice product. And, once the playoffs start, paint the town blue and green, right?
Very true. The only blue and green making the playoffs this year. Anyway.
Hey, well, I think those guys up at Abbey Center are doing okay.
Okay.
That is true. That is true.
Unless they keep Spencer Martin there for a bit. But
keep my boy's name out your mouth, all right? All right?
I'm sorry.
That was my boy, Spencer Martin. Okay, you have to remember, when I was working for the Abbotsford Canucks, Spencer Martin was a darling, okay?
Yes,
that guy was standing on his head.
I'm sorry, Spencer.
That's right. He follows me on everything. We exchange DMs every now and then. He's a great guy, okay?
Yes, I'm sorry, Spencer Martin.
When he announced, just a side note, when he announced he was getting rid of the Chrome Dome at the beginning of the season, and like the internet melted down because we all loved his helmet last season, and that was the source of his power. I initially suggested him to use a friend of mine as his artist. I got a longtime family friend of mine. His name's Brandon Gabriel. He's a Kwantlen artist out of Fort Langley. And he does beautiful works in paintings, carvings, and whatnot. And I'm like, hey, if you want to get like a coastal mask, he's the guy you got to talk to. Like, he'll knock it out of the park for you. He's like, I already found it, but if I'm still here next season, like, he might be the guy I call. So, with a little side note about Spencer Martin being an awesome guy.
Yes, I'm sorry, Spencer Martin. That was a poorly timed joke. I apologize. I'm sorry, Spencer Martin. Anyway,
what are the Abbey Canucks doing right now?
I don't.
I know they're playing.
They were playing. Last I heard, it was 3-2 Manitoba out in Abbey.
Because they were up 2-0 in that game.
Yeah, they blew a lead just like their big Canucks. Oh no, 4-3 Moose with 11:40 left in the third.
Still got half the period left.
Still got half the.
Still
They're
got
still
time.
probably making the playoffs anyway.
Oh yeah.
No, they are.
They've been so good this
They've
year.
been great this year.
Speaking on good teams this year, the Eagles, like you said, Fred Page Cup playoffs. The last time they won the Fred Page Cup was back in 2013. Devon Taves was on that team. Now he has a Stanley Cup as well. The energy in the South Surrey Arena, I have been to games. It is certainly something that I have never experienced before. I've been to plenty of NHL games, I've been to AHL games. I just like the closeness kind of the crowd. Like obviously you're physically close to the arena, but it all feels like you're all kind of connected in a sense. So just having that energy in the barn for the playoffs is just going to be absolutely insane.
Absolutely.
That's the beauty of the small barn too, because South Surrey at max capacity with standing room only can go up to about 1,400 people, right?
That is correct.
That's not a whole lot of people, but when you pack them in like sardines, like they are at the South Surrey Arena, that's a lot of people, and they're loud in there because we've had a number of sellouts this season. The night that we played the Penticton V's, which was a 1-0 loss and a heartbreaker. Power play goal from Bradley Nadeau. He leads the league in goals for a reason. And, that crowd, I don't think they could have wanted a goal anymore that night. I think we probably would have needed to get a new arena after that if we could have ended up pulling out a victory against the V's, because that building was coming down if we scored.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's only a taste of what it could be like in the playoffs. As of right now, it looks like the Eagles are going to be matched up with the Powell River Kings. And the Eagles got one more matchup with the Kings coming up this season before playoffs start up. And, currently the Eagles have a losing record against Powell River.
The Kings have had a number on the Eagles this year, even though the team is about 15 points ahead of them, the Eagles, that is, in the standings.
Yeah, it's a strange thing because, you always talk about you're good on home ice, the Powell River Kings, and it's the travel out there. You got to take 2 ferries from South Surrey to get up to Powell River.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about a rowdy fan base right there. The Powell River Kings, they're the only game in town. If you want to go out for a Friday night, you go down to Hat Parker Arena and you watch the Kings play. So that's a place that'll get absolutely rocking in the playoffs. So it's just, that could be a bit of a strange thing for Surrey going into it because, the 2 times that they played out in Powell River this season didn't go too well for them, a pair of losses. And that was at a time where the Eagles were really on quite a tear. They'd just taken down the Nanaimo Clippers the previous week. And then, a pair of quick losses, and it was demoralizing for them. And it was a hard stretch for them. They ended up playing 6 games in 9 days, but it's very curious to see how things are going to be looking for them as they head into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And just a note on the domination, the V's are on. So the V's are first, and they have clinched first in the league, obviously. So they have 43 wins and 3 losses, regulation losses, 1 shootout loss. So let's make it 43 wins and 4 losses this year entirely. And the closest team to them in their own conference is the Cranbrook Bucks. They are 20 points behind them for second place in the Interior Division. The V's are on fire. They are going to be the team to beat going into the playoffs this year. And they
generally are.
Yeah. They are the dominant club in the BCHL.
They're the Yankees.
They are the Yankees of the BCHL. I couldn't have come up with a better way to put it.
The Bruins.
No, it's not that kind of dominance.
Like, and they would likely play Trail, it looks like, in their division. They'll be playing Trail likely. For the playoffs, even though the teams haven't been fully cemented, there's enough points gaps in these bottom areas of the playoffs that you can pretty much decide. Like Nanaimo will likely end up playing the Langley Rivermen. Though Cowichan could go on a tear and come back. They're 6 points out of that last playoff spot in the Coastal.
I'd like to see them make a run at it. It could be fun to see. And because the BCHL, because everybody likes to make fun of the Canucks for you get in and you never know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
When you're in the Fred Page Cup playoffs, anything can happen.
So
Like the level of parity in junior hockey is absolutely ridiculous. Any team can beat any team on any given night.
I was
Case in point, there was a powerhouse Penticton V's squad back in 2017. It was the first year that I worked for the V's. 17-18. And this team was absolutely ridiculous. There's a bunch of guys who are still playing NCAA hockey, like David Cilia and Adam Scheel, who's now playing for the Texas Stars in the American League. So a lot of great players were on this squad. They ended up going out in 6 games in the first round of the Cowichan Valley Capitals. Yep.
What? Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. The mantra as much is of anything can happen is much truer in junior hockey, even though a majority of the teams in that bottom half of the division's playoffs have losing records. This is I think 18 team league, and 16 teams get into the playoffs. Only 2 teams miss out.
That must suck for those guys.
You might, it appears one-sided when you've got, a 43 win, 4 loss team facing off against a, 17-25 team. But, this type of hockey, fan bases can get loud in those barns. Players can go on heaters. Really, sometimes it can really just be a coin flip, and there can be major upsets.
Yeah. All you need is your goalie to go on a run.
True.
At this level, I've seen it happen in this league growing up, and it's something that can happen this year. You look at a team like the Cranbrook Bucks. Nathan Airy is a brick wall between the pipes. Who knows what could happen for the Bucks if he can really go on a heater there? You look at the Victoria Grizzlies rather. Oliver Alyang Ashton. He's an absolute stud since coming up from the BC Elite Hockey League's U18 division. If he can start to really stand on his head, the Victoria Grizzlies could definitely be dangerous. Hobie Hedquist for the Alberni Valley Bulldogs. Matthew Tuvel out in Salmon Arm. There's a ton of fantastic netminders in this league. And if they can get hot at the right time, which is game 1 of round 1, and they can stay hot till about game 4 or round 4, that's all you really need. And all of a sudden, Fred Page Cup champions, and that looks pretty good on your resume when you're trying to knock on the door of a Division I NCAA team.
Very true. Very true. It'll certainly be an interesting atmosphere. Very exciting times in the BCHL.
Kaja, I expect you to be out for game 1.
For game 1, send me a date and I'll be there.
It's going to be like April 1st or 2nd. Season end, I think, just at the end of March.
The 26th is the last game.
So they'll settle in March. Last day of March. April 1st will likely be first day of the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have to miss one of the 2 days for WrestleMania, and I'm not thrilled about that. I found out John Cena's wrestling. No, it's me. No, I'm still going to be doing it.
I was like, I'm skipping out on a playoff game?
I have to miss WrestleMania.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
I was thinking because we have home dates. We've clinched home to start the next series, and you're like, I'm going to miss one of 2 dates, and I was like, who's calling then?
No. Wrestling, WrestleMania has 2 days for the pay-per-view.
Yes.
There's a day 1 and a day 2, and I'm like, I'm going to have to miss probably day 1.
Yeah.
So. I hope John Cena wrestles on day 2.
It's okay. It's all scripted anyway.
Yeah.
What a dig.
What shows do you watch?
I'd say the NHL, but that's also probably scripted. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a work.
Just before we head out here, just wanted to touch a bit on, we talked about kind of the end of the season coming up. Obviously, playoffs doesn't really end the season. But on March 19th, Joey, we have something very exciting going on at the South Surrey Arena. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
All right. I've gotten pretty good at doing this, so let's see if I can do this without any mess ups. All right. It's time to take a quick pause for the cause to talk about WigsForKids BC and the BC Children's Hospital Foundation. Now, if you don't know already, the great folks at WigsForKids BC, they fund the creation of custom-made human hair wigs for kids and teens down at BC Children's Hospital who have lost their hair due to cancer treatments. They also help families pay for essential medical and feeding supplies that aren't normally covered by their medical plans. Now, regularly, these wigs go from anywhere from $600 to close to $9,000. And when you got a little guy at home who's battling cancer, the last thing you want to do is fork over all that money just to get them a head of hair. That's where the absolute angels, the saints at WigsForKids BC and the BC Children's Hospital Foundation come in. They fund the creation of these custom-made human hair wigs free of charge for kids and teens down at BC Children's Hospital, while also helping families pay for those essential medical costs. By contributing to Wigs for Kids BC, you're making a tremendous difference in the lives of kids and teens living with cancer and their families across the province of British Columbia. Now, this is where we come in here at the Surrey Eagles, myself and Jacob. So this season, the Eagles are trying to raise $15,000 for Wigs for Kids BC, culminating in 12 days' time from our recording tonight. So I'm kind of post-dating this.
It's going on the 10th. So, but 9 days.
So it'll be 9 days away when this goes up. During the second intermission, when the Eagles host the Victoria Grizzlies on Sunday, March 19th, during that second intermission, myself and my broadcast partner, Lucas Celli, will make our way down onto the ice. We'll be joined by a local barber from Harry & Sons Barbershop down here in Cloverdale. And we're going to be shaving my head. And we're going to be donating it to Wigs for Kids BC. And they're going to turn it into an awesome looking wig for some lucky kid down at BC Children's Hospital. Folks, if you want to donate, it's very simple. All you got to do, visit the Eagles on Instagram or Twitter at Surrey Eagles. You check the link in our bio. You'll get a direct link to the Eagles Wigs for Kids page. Donate as little or as much as you can, and your donation will be matched by our anonymous donor up to $5,000. We've currently hit $6,300 raised for Wigs for Kids. We're slowly creeping up on halfway there, and we've got a ways to go, obviously. But again, with our anonymous donor matching all donations moving forward, we're getting very, very close. So please, folks, get your donations in and make your way down to the South Surrey Arena on March 19th. Get your tickets at tickets.surreyeagles.ca because you're going to see me bald.
He's going to go buzz cut.
Baldy.
Join the club. I'm really excited for buzz cut, Joey.
It's going to be a strange era for me. You know?
Yeah. I was gonna say it's a new era.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking forward to it. I can't even remember what it's like to have short hair at this point. So to go from having all of this, but yeah, I might as well do this for a minute just to show you what we're working with for Wigs for Kids here.
Yeah, there's a lot back there.
There is a lot of hair.
That is a beauty.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I'm jealous.
It's a ton. It's really curly, and
you're gonna miss it.
I definitely will. The person who's gonna miss it more than me is the person standing over there eating lasagna. Laura is gonna miss my hair.
Calling her out.
Oh, what? As soon as this ends, I'm gonna be over there eating lasagna with her.
Okay.
Like, I'm not calling anybody out. If anything, I'm calling you out, Kaja, for making me stay during my dinner.
I'm so sorry.
Ooh,
I'm so.
This is a late dinner,
so
though. We're recording late.
It's 9:30 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
When do you leave for the next road trip, Joey?
We're heading. We're leaving the South Surrey Arena on Thursday.
Okay, so you got one more day then. That you leave tomorrow.
Yeah, we play. Yeah, we leave Thursday. We get into our hotel and Trail Thursday night. Friday, we drive out to Cranbrook, play the game in Cranbrook, drive back to Trail, stay in the hotel. The next day, we play in Trail, and then we come home. So
nice.
A lot of travel involved.
It's a lot of travel. We're basically going to Alberta for this. Like Cranbrook's like an hour and a half from the Alberta border. So like it's mountain time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's across the time zone.
Eagles fans. So this is coming out Friday.
Friday, yeah, Friday at noon.
Friday. So if you want to catch my broadcast tonight, we'll be going on the air at 5:45 Pacific time for a 6 o'clock Mountain Time puck drop, or pardon me, a 7 o'clock Mountain Time puck drop, which would make it 6 o'clock Pacific time. So that's really going to throw me off.
Yeah,
and then because as soon as we're done, we drive back to Trail, which is back to Pacific time. So
lose that hour. Yeah. Or gain an hour, actually. You're going back. Lose an
hour over
lose an hour and then you gain one back.
You're time traveling. You're time traveling. Yeah. BCHL people time travel.
And for people unaware, you can listen, like the BCHL has a subscription service for streaming games, but you can listen to Joey's Call for free on a Mixlr feed.
Mixlr.com/EaglesBCHL. That's MIXLR.com/EaglesBCHL.
Yep.
Yes.
for Eagles hockey on BCHL TV and Mixler, presented by Budget Break and Muffler Auto Centers.
There you go. Nice trade.
Yes.
I'm still the intro for that, right?
You are.
Let's go.
You know, it's funny.
Broadcast
Lucas
voice
was
gig
bugging
right
me.
there.
Lucas was bugging me. He's like, I'm surprised you didn't try to get Al to do it for you.
Oh, I mean, you got the connections, but you came to me, so I appreciate that.
You're my boy, that's why.
Presented by Budget Break and Muffler Auto Centers. And now, here's the voice of your Surrey Eagles, Joey Pitt.
You know, the funniest thing about it, too, is like, you throw it to me, and then it's like, welcome inside the South Surrey Arena. We're going to throw it down now to PA announcer Jacob New for the starting lineups.
Right
and then
back
I turn
to
off
me.
my microphone.
Yeah. I keep forgetting that you technically you play me on the mic for the starting lineups. I just assume that you're still talking, at least in doing kind of a pregame. And then you go to me for all things after the intro week, because we'll go with our land acknowledgement and any ceremonies before, and then anthem and game. So it's one of the interesting things. Like, as part of the media team, I'm in communication with them in lead ups to game, but I work in the penalty box down at the rink. So I am pretty isolated. I work with a great guy, scorekeeper Jeffrey. And I'm literally down there on the beside the ice. And 2 times this year, we've had major hits break the glass.
Yep.
Okay, no. Let me clarify that. Not break the glass, dislodge the glass panel beside the penalty box in front of me, my computer setup, and all my scripts. And they've had to bring in a guy to fix it twice this year. And so they literally took, I think, the top end of a hockey stick and drilled it into the kind of just where the glass is sitting. So to kind of just like as a rebar, as reinforcement to kind of stop it from happening again, though I have a feeling it'll happen at least once more this year.
Yeah. I was there during one of the times.
You took a great picture. It's now my Twitter banner. Just me holding the glass, just trying to keep everything together.
Yes.
That's
just
my gosh. The encapsulation of my life.
Yeah.
No, it's one Cole Galata hit away from happening again.
Yeah.
Because it's always Galata. It's always Galata.
Usually Cole. Yeah.
Like, it's always Galata.
I just thought it was really interesting whenever the refs would come over to the penalty box and like tell you guys who scored and everything.
Yeah, well,
like,
also
one
of the
communication I thought was really
interesting things. Like, I'll give you a little kind of preview into how this works. So refs will come over, give me the numbers of score and assists, and usually I will wait about a minute before confirming, because some guys, they'll look and they'll give me the wrong assist makers essentially. So we usually have someone that manages like a hockey tech score sheet almost. So they will update the scores if it is wrong. So we put it in there. I wait a minute. We'll get on the mic, then make the announcement. But it's funny because like there's been many times this season where I'll wait at least 2 minutes because I'm like, I don't know if that guy got the assist. I want to wait. We'll throw it in there. And if someone changes it, then we'll announce it. I wait 2 minutes. I'm like, all right, let's confirm. We'll go Surrey goal and we'll do everything. And then I'm getting a text midway through announcement from our director of game ops, Josh Dubuck, saying, no, it was a Bongo got the assist. Or it was like, no, this guy scored, and this was his assist, or there was a secondary assist. There were like, because sometimes the refs are like, no, there's only primary assist, and then I have to get on the mic like literally a minute later. It's like, change to Surrey's first goal of the game. Goal scored by number 29, Jake Bongo. Primary assist number 9, Cole Galata. Secondary assist now awarded to number 5, Josh Wessels. 15, Josh Wessels. I should know my.
I was about to say.
I caught myself.
Yo, shout out to Josh Wessels, scored his first goal as a Surrey Eagle on Sunday afternoon out in Langley.
Yeah.
He was the last guy on the team who was looking to get his first of the season. So now officially every player on that roster who's a full-time player, not an AP, has scored a goal for the Eagles. Aside from the netminders, obviously. Even though Michael Sochan scored in the preseason, so
he did. And you weren't on the call, and you were livid.
I was up at Penticton doing the Young Stars. So I called a Vancouver Calgary game up doing PA, and I checked Twitter after. I'd say like, for DJ Carson Lougheed, my name's Joey Pitt. We'll be back tomorrow for Winnipeg versus Calgary and Vancouver versus Edmonton. Good night, everybody. Mm-hmm. Pull out my phone and I just see the graphic saying Michael Sochan scores his first BCHL goal. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean he scored his first BCHL goal?
At least it was your color guy, Lucas Celli, on the call, and he had a great call on that.
Yeah, we love making fun of him for it though. Michael Sochan! Oh my goodness!
Hey, you know what?
He's so happy. He's so
happy. And that was
never done play-by-play before. He had never done it before.
Oh man, what a first game for that.
The only time he'd ever done it.
It was a preseason game, but goalie goal. And it was funny because I remember that was, I think, the second preseason game of the year. I'm still settling into my boots as a PA DJ, you know, kind of like everything's coming at me the first time. And so I remember kind of doing score sheet work and still working and I look up and I see the puck going by. And I just assumed it was shot by a player. And it goes to the empty. I'm like, oh, empty net goal. And then I see everyone go to the goalie. Like they're jumping up and down, they're hugging him. And I'm like, wait, did he score? And then the scorekeeper turns to me, he's like, yeah, it was a goalie goal. And I was like, what? I didn't look up for it.
Oh my gosh.
But quick. That was a great goal by Sochan there. Back up to the Eagles for BCHL All-Star Eli, the Pulverizer Pulver.
Yes, the Pulverizer. All right. Well, thank you both for joining me on this episode. You can find Joey on Twitter at _Joey Pitt and Jacob on Twitter at JKMNew. Thank you both for joining me. And I will also have a link towards Joey's or the Surrey Eagles WigsForKids /Joey fundraiser down below in the description if you're listening to this on a podcast platform or you're watching the YouTube video. All right. Thank you. Have a great time. Your fun fact of the day was kind of already mentioned in the guest segment, but I will still mention it nonetheless. Devon Taves and Brandon Tanev played together on the Eagles during the 2011-2012 season, and Taves went on to win, yes, the Stanley Cup last year, but also the BCHL's Fred Page Cup with the Eagles in 2013. Thank you for watching and or listening to the show. You can find me personally on Twitter at RealKayaMay and the show at GTGPod. Hope you enjoyed, stay safe, and see you again in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody.